Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good day. My name is Orel, and today is the 21st of January 2026. This is the KubeVirt community meeting. Please consider adding your attendees at the meeting notes that I will share in the chat. Do we have anyone new on this call who would like to introduce themselves? I'll take that as a no.
Yeah, I'm an intern that started. So I'm based in Dublin. I'm currently studying a bachelor's in computer science, and I joined Red Hat as an intern for 9 months. I'm on the OpenShift virtualization team on the upstream CI, so I'm going to work with maintaining and developing the CI. I'll also be analyzing pull requests, and I'm there for any questions or any help that's needed by any members of the community. So if you need anything, just send me a message.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Don't see anyone else which is new on the call. All right, let's continue with the schedule check-in. Let's see, KubeVirt 1.8 schedule. Today we are on the 21st, so we have the CI lanes provider are voting, and I don't think that this is the case. I think that we have a agenda point about it, right, Daniel?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was just thinking that you would probably also want to do the upcoming CFP check-ins or the calendar check-ins first. But yeah, we can continue right away if we want to do that afterwards.
So let's go over the CFPs. So there is KubeCon and Cloud Native Con in India. So the presentation submission is due in several days. There is also KubeCon Japan, which is very cool, and also KubeCon in China. What else do we have? We have FOSDEM and KubeCon in Amsterdam and the KubeVirt Summit in Amsterdam. Do you know if they've already published the speakers list?
I think they did, yeah.
Cool. Anyone from the community lecturing there, presenting there?
So I'll give a talk with Srija from NVIDIA on the maintainers track. Yeah, you're welcome to view it or attend.
Cool. Nice job. Let's move on to the agenda. Daniel, do you want to talk about the Kubernetes 135 voting lane?
Sure. Yeah, probably due to holidays and stuff, the new provider was neglected a bit. So the thing is, at the moment, it's not even always running, which the top pull request, like the project infra 4632 targets. So basically, this is normally like a two-step process. We normally, a couple of weeks after the initial provider is introduced, we are going to run them. We are going to run the new lanes on a regular basis, like on every pull request commit, which is still not happening. So my question overall would be, what does the community say? For example, like what do the several SIG people say about like at least enabling the running of the 135 lanes so that we have more data. I mean, we already have the periodic data in there. So we are still aware that there's a couple of problems still, which are luring. which is also can be seen on the KubeVirt CI bump, which is the KubeVirt 16294 pull request. There, for example, like I've already talked to Alex Kaleniuk, and they are saying that they're dealing with some nasty flakes on the storage lanes. SIG Compute has still a couple of failing tests on periodics for which also an issue exists. And the ARM lane is impacted by flimsy client configuration, for which Lee Arwood already has provided the fix, which is great. So yeah, basically, I'm not. What do the people say? Should we at first just enable the pull request so that we get broader input on the pull requests, how they behave against 135, and yeah, what do people think about this?
Hey Daniel. So to me, if it's isolated, I mean the flakiness to storage for now, I would be for moving forward with other SIGs at least to get up to speed. And yeah, I think we need to monitor this weekly probably to get it voting as soon as possible.
Okay, yeah, I agree. So I think at least that we can probably leave out the voting lanes for a couple of days at least. So I don't think that this will harm the schedule overall. So at least that's my experience. I'm not sure if you disagree on that. So yeah, I'll move on with enabling the lanes at least, so that we have the lanes at least running every time on all pull requests. Yeah,
consider,
and
sorry, Daniel. Consider that from what I remember, the SIG compute failing tests are not flaky. They are consistently failing.
Yeah.
So just
exactly.
Yeah.
That was actually caused by proper bug in Kubernetes. So if we happen to bump the Kubernetes after that, then it should be all good.
Yeah, so just my question is if you agree that we should proceed like as I proposed. So first of all, enable the lanes on the pull request, and then get the KubeVirt CI bump in. But the thing is we need to wait for one fix that needs to land so that we have another KubeVirt CI recent version where this flimsy kind configuration is fixed. So if I would propose, or if I would have to say about that, I would suggest probably at first enabling the lanes, waiting for the ARM64 fix to land, then a bump KubeVirt CI, by also waiving the SIG compute flakes, or not the SIG compute flakes, but at least the SIG storage flakes. And then we can decide how we proceed with making the lanes required. Does that sound like a plan? Okay, at least I have seen a couple of thumbs up, but yeah, Lugo, please go ahead.
It sounds good to me.
Okay, cool. I'll do that. Thanks.
Great, thank you very much, Daniel. And the next point is, for me, it's about us having more than 300 open PRs. Some of them are open for more than a year. And I wonder, how does it affect us? Like, does it take from our CI resources? Does it cost us something? Do we want to maybe have an automation to close PRs that are open for more than X value? Like, having PRs open for more than a year sounds like a lot. What do you think? Yes, Daniel.
So if I may say something, I think that this automatic PR and issue close that should be already active, The thing is, whenever there is an update on a PR, the recent counter, like modification counter, gets reset. So that might be the case on some PRs that are not closed. But given what I am saying, I probably need to reinspect whether that is the case. But I think basically PRs are actually being closed, but the interval is pretty long. So I think like you need at least 3 months of no activity on a PR to get it like stale, and then you need another 30 days of inactivity to get it rotten. And after another 30 days, I think then it's being closed. So it might be like that it takes around like half a year at least whenever like an abandoned PR is finally being closed there. So that's around from what I remember.
Does it cost us anything?
If there is nothing open, it only costs GitHub, I think. I mean, yeah. So the thing is basically what we should not neglect is like the overall burden of us as reviewers on PRs that might like lose the sight, like not seeing the forest over all the trees, as we probably say. That might be something. Maybe we can just reduce the cycle times so that we close PRs faster. But I would leave that up to a discussion in the KubeVirt community, basically.
Any other thoughts, comments on this subject?
Oh, well, some PRs, I have a few PRs that I want to keep open. Those are PRs that I never intend to merge. And it's just code that I need for debugging and stuff that I need to keep around. So for me, it's convenient to keep them open.
But these PRs are in the draft mode, or I mean, maybe we should.
Yeah, they're in draft mode. Yeah.
I wonder if all of these PRs that are not merged and just hanging out there, maybe we can, instead of closing them, really switch to draft automatically. And then when we are counting the open PRs, not to count those. I don't know. Yeah, it's really difficult to tell.
So I'm not really sure if you get something. So basically, closed PRs are normally like somehow removed from the view, right? While draft PRs are not. So I'm not sure.
I think the main. I think from my point of view, the main disadvantage of having those around is that we will not run CI for some weird reason on them.
I'm not sure if I got that. Sorry.
No, I mean, but what I mean is that usually when PRs are open, there's a chance that somebody will run the CI on them, and just to waste resources. So in order not to waste those resources, but still keep the PRs around. I mean, then I thought that keeping those as draft is okay. I don't know.
Okay, now I get you. So maybe something like okay, if it's getting stale, we would convert it, or if it's getting rotten, probably we could convert it to draft PR, and then or even earlier. So whenever it's getting the stale status, for example, we could revert it to draft PR, so that we don't waste the CI resources on these.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm seeing Aziz.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, quick question. When we say wasting CI resources, I just had a question about where do the CI run? Do they run on dedicated machines that are idle when the CI isn't running, or are we paying per use of the CI lane? So what is the cost of quotes like wasting CI? Is it like waiting longer before tests can run?
Yeah, I think a couple of these factors. So basically, we are running like two clusters for the CI, which are sponsored by Red Hat. And this is quite an amount of money that is basically going in there. So, but I think like the wasting on the CI resources on, for example, like PRs that are not important anymore. This will basically might in the outcome the outcome might be of that other PRs might not be run as soon as possible or later than possible if those like stale PRs are being run on CI resources. So that's basically what the waste of that is. Does that make sense?
Yes. So like what motivated my question is that in my experience, CI lanes, like when you run them, seem to run immediately. So I haven't personally had this issue of having to wait for CI lanes for the short time I've been here. So I was wondering if this really is a concern.
So then you might have been lucky, because the thing is, like the ETE lanes in the KubeVirt project are having like an average of, I would say, like an hour or 1.5 hours runtime. And there's a lot of ETE lanes that are being run on each PR. So the thing is, when you're starting to hit the peak in the afternoon, like EMEA time, for example, then you would basically need to wait longer. So if you're, I'm not sure where you're based, but if you're probably based in Europe or starting later or whatever, then you might see that already a lot of PRs are already being, or the test lanes for a lot of PRs are already being run, which impacts your feedback time basically on the PR. But yeah, you might just have been lucky on that.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you for your explanation.
Yeah,
Okay,
feel free to
let's
ping me if there was anything else that I can answer you if you want. Sorry, go ahead, please.
thank you very much. There are other subjects on the agenda, so let's move on. Thank you for those who participated in the discussion. There is an open floor bullet from Lee.
Yeah,
Is Lee here?
I'm here. Hi, hopefully you can hear me. So yeah, this PR is the long-standing AI policy discussion PR up in the community repo. I tried to get it to a close prior to the shutdown and my sick leave over that and everything, and unfortunately didn't get to a point where we merged this. Really, my question is just like, how do folks want to proceed with this now? I think I've pushed the policy as far forward as I can, really. It is the way it's written at the moment, it's an optional thing that folks can do during submission to kind of say that a particular PR has been assisted by some kind of model, LLM, agent, whatever, AI-based tooling. That seemed originally this was going to be a requirement for PRs, but yeah, it's not as strict at the moment in its current form. We are getting a lot of PRs now that have had some kind of AI assistance. So I think having a policy that just asks folks to do this is beneficial in terms of tracking, where these things are coming from and how the actual projects or projects and repositories are set up ahead of time for these tools as well. So yeah, I think the policy as is ready to merge, but if folks want to go through another round of reviews, that's fine. But yeah, I'm interested to hear what the group think on how to proceed with this.
Haley, so maybe I'll start. I've written my thoughts in depth, like on the PR. And by the way, I'm happy to hear that it's not a requirement right now and that it's optional. So in short, like what I think is that I'm not sure I see the value or benefit in having such a policy, to be honest. On the other hand, I'm not against it, or I don't know, I don't want to block it on my side. So yeah, that's generally my opinion. If people think that's beneficial, then great. Personally, I'm not 100% convinced, to be honest.
And just this, Mark, just from your point of view, then there's no benefit to asking folks to just highlight that something's been assisted by an AI tool. Is that like you don't see any benefit in that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that like moving, I don't know, a year from now, using AI would be a standard thing to develop code, basically. For this reason, it's just another basic tool that we all use all the time. So yeah, I mean, we assist AI by doing, almost anything on our day-to-day basis today. This will just grow over time, I guess. I don't know. I just don't see the benefit.
Well, I don't disagree with you that I think that the use of those tools is going to be more and more prominent going forward. But it's like with any other tool prior to it that to get the most out of using said tool, we need to ensure that our project is actually providing the necessary context, information, configuration, etc., to this new set of AI tools. And without some form of it's not tracking, but without some form of intelligence of like how folks are actually developing on the project using these tools, I don't think we can provide the best experience going forward for the tools. We're kind of relying on the tools to do the right thing that they are predominantly over time, they're probably going to get a lot better at. But that's why things like Claude.md, agents.md, all of those configuration files exist already. There's various other kind of ways of providing context and configurations to these tools ahead of time as well. That without the knowledge that folks are predominantly using Claude or they're predominantly using some other tool, we're not going to know how to. We're not going to realize that we need to kind of help folks with. That's the whole reason I've been pushing this.
So these are great points in my opinion, because like, for example, having a Cloud MD, should we get into the business of maintaining it? I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe there are different techniques to writing a good Cloud MD. Maybe people have different, styles with it. I don't know. Maybe it will become obsolete within a few months. I don't know. So to me, it's not obvious that we should get into the business of all of those stuff. It's to me, it's similar to not getting into the business of configuring IDEs or something like that. Although I'm sure every one of us has their configurations that they do all the time when they develop KubeVirt and think it's really beneficial. But I don't know. I mean, these are good questions. And I'm not saying that I'm against it. Again, I'm just saying that I'm not entirely convinced. That's all. Yeah, but I'll let others.
I guess I'll go next. I just wanted to mention that. So as for like Claude MD or agents.md, we have like KubeVirt has documentation on like reviewer guidelines and coding conventions. And I do think it would be really beneficial for AI to know that these are the coding conventions we follow in this project, so that it follows them. And I think it can universally apply to anyone using Claude or whatever AI agent on KubeVirt to be aware of that. This is how we do things in KubeVirt. And from my point of view, that's like one of the most important benefits of like having a official AI policy that we can better enforce certain conventions that we want in KubeVirt?
Right, and maybe that makes sense today. Maybe tomorrow it would become completely obsolete because the models would be smart enough to understand that the docs folder and that explains how to contribute. That's the thing that they need to look at. I think that even today, when you do like /init on Claude, it generates a pretty good Claude MD just like that. It goes to the repo. It reads all the documentation. I mean. Again, I'm not saying it's not beneficial. I'm not convinced that we should get in the business of maintaining it. I do see, a place to discuss Claude MD for KubeVirt and maybe, I don't know, maybe share our experience with it. But I don't know. I don't feel that also this whole field has, matured enough and it's so new. Yeah, that's just my view.
On that matter, I want to mention that, like, as for Claude and stuff, figuring out where all the important files are, like a lot of that is just like orchestration on the people making Claude, because the fundamental limitation of the way we do AI today is like context windows. And unless we completely come up with a brand new way of making LLMs that is not dependent on like, context windows, I think this is something that will stay, that you do need to tell the AI agents where the important files are, because they're not gonna, especially on a big project, they're not automatically gonna know that these are where the important files are. At least that's not the case today. And there's reason to believe that it won't be, like with the fundamental context limitation.
Hey folks, I'm sorry to cut this discussion off. We have only a minute or so until the end of this call. Then there will be the SIG compute call. There are 2 PRs by our sheet. If anyone could have a look, it would be great. I intend to look at the second one at least. There are 2 other points that I am not sure that we will be able to cover today, but we can take them to the next community meeting. Apologies in advance for not getting to them today. Anything else for today? Have a nice rest of the day. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.